All right, let's call the meeting to order of the MTA security meeting. First item of business, I'll just put on the record that no one has signed up for the public comment period, so we'll move to the second item, which is the approval of minutes from our last meeting in September. Do I have a motion? Changes, comments, edits? There being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Now, approval of the work plan. Doug?
Mr. Chairman, as indicated on this security work plan for 2012, this month we're supposed to be speaking on an update regarding the electronic security for IESS, plus we're supposed to give an update on our grant. We're prepared to do that in an executive session with your approval, but right now we'd like to present to the committee the approval for the 2012 security plan work plan.
Okay. It's included. It's on page 1 yes, page 1 inside the booklet. That's actually page 5.
Page 5.
Page 5. Are there any questions or issues or comments? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. All right. Crime statistics in open or public session?
We've done that in open session in the
Okay,
past.
fine.
Yeah.
Chief Cohn?
Good afternoon. Unfortunately, last year we ended the year up 374 incidents versus 323, plus 51 crimes, a 16% increase. 2 crimes were reclassified. The book reflects 376, but 2 larcenies were reclassified. Basically, robberies and larcenies, they drove the numbers. We had 74 robberies versus 55 last year. A breakdown in the East Long Island Railroad, we had 39 or 53%. Metro North, 22 or 30%. In Staten Island, we had 13 or 18%. Most of these occur on platforms or when you're entering or exiting one of our locations. Only 14 of those robberies actually happen on a train, which accounted for 19%. As we've seen in the media, I mentioned earlier this morning, and I know Joe Fox was here this morning as well, cell phones and tablets have basically drove the numbers. 49% of our robberies, the victim had a phone or a tablet type item removed. On the upside, we did close out 35 or 47% of those cases with an arrest. We arrested 39 individuals, and we have a couple leads on some of the robberies from last year. We're continuing to work on those. Larcenies, we had 241 versus 205, which was plus 36 or an 18% increase. Now the larcenies were pretty much spread out: 48% in the east, 49% in the north, 3% in the south. Again, 84 of those, or 35% of those, happened on a train, and out of that, 69% of those larcenies, it was unattended property. Somebody put an expensive item in excess of $1,000 down somewhere, either train, platform, maybe in one of our locations with a dining concourse, etc., and it disappeared, and therefore, we had a larceny. 82 of those incidents were electronic devices, and we had 37 felony copper thefts last year. So copper and electronic items kind of pushed it. We did make 50 arrests, only 21%, but we did make 50. Larcenies a little tougher. We're still continuing to do some follow-up. We had some fraud cases with credit card fraud. We had some success with TVM frauds last year. This year it shouldn't be as major a problem. They put the mapping on it, and you need to put your address ID. But with the credit card cases, it normally takes about 3 months to vet it out, and we still have a couple of those cases going. Assaults, very quickly, we were up just a few numbers in assaults. We had 42 incidents, but we had 40 arrests. I know that there was some mentioning in the morning meeting, something with name tags, and some of the conductors don't want people to be ID'd. And part of that is because they were mentioning it's just Metro North is a little different than Long Island Railroad. We had 8 conductors assaulted, and 6 of those were in the east, and there was an arrest on each one of those cases. Then we also had 23 of the officers. Right now, with conductors and police officers, if you assault them, it automatically gets elevated to a felony. So that accounts for that. So they weren't necessarily injured as greatly as a civilian would be, but it was nonetheless an assault. And we had 23 police officers assaulted as well. But 76% of the assaults happened on Long Island Railroad side. So that's probably what led to that conversation this morning. We continue to be vigilant. Directed patrol, we're putting officers at the locations where we're having the greater incidents, and we're riding the trains that go to and from the stations where we're having incidents of not only robberies and larcenies. The officers are going to the stations, getting in a car, walking around. We're deploying surveillance cameras, as I mentioned earlier. We've had some good success with that. And we started handing out crime prevention flyers to warn people to guard their cell phones, laptops, and those are both in English and Spanish. But if anybody has any questions.
Chief, regarding the assaults on the conductors in the Long Island Railroad, is it a certain time of day? Is there anything in particular? Well, let me start with time of day first.
Yeah, evening trains, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, late trains. Normally the individuals intox, and it's either going to be a step-up fare because they come in and they have the regular commutation ticket, and then or they don't have a ticket, then they have to pay on the train. Or alcohol is the common denominator. But we ride the late trains. One of the reasons we have such a success rate in making the arrests because we will ride those trains, and it's enclosed. They assault the individual on a train. If we're not on a train, they radio ahead. We hold that train and we meet it and we make the arrest. And we do talk to DAs. They're very good about keeping the felony charge. We track the cases.
Okay. Any questions from the members? Okay.
Thank you.
Being none. Okay. Next item of business is executive session to go over some of the more sensitive items. Can I have a motion to go into executive session? Second? All right. We're in executive session. Thank you.